Hello from LoveLitCon in San Diego. Joining me now is Adib Khorram, friend of the pod. Is that fair to say?
I would say.
Okay, I was like, I think he'll let it slide. Author of Darius the Great is Not Okay, Darius the Great Deserves Better, Kiss and Tell, The Breakup List, I'll Have What He's Having, and It Had to Be Him. Plus, his next YA novel, One Word, 6 Letters, is releasing next month. Did I capture everything?
I think so.
Okay, well, hello.
Hello, it's great to be back.
It's good to see you in person.
It is. I'm trying to remember how long ago. I feel like it was still like kind of the quarantine times when it happened last. Maybe we were coming out of it a little bit, but like still everything was just digital.
It was a totally different world. I will say this podcast has mostly stayed digital, but it's very fun to do.
That's
this in
fair.
person.
It is delightful though.
Yes, very, very cool. Well, I have a question for you based
Okay.
off of our last conversation. Do you still stand by Cooper's Hawk Brussels sprouts?
Oh my gosh. You know, I think so. I haven't been to a Cooper's Hawk for a while, which is wild because one opened down the street from me earlier this year or late last year. But yeah, I love a good crispy Brussels sprout.
Their Brussels sprouts are, I too have not been to Cooper's Hawk in a while, but their Brussels sprouts are top notch, or at least they were the last time I was there.
I have a friend who's gotten really into making Brussels sprouts in her cast iron with some like bacon grease, and so sometimes it's simply more economical to go to my friend's house.
You're covered in the Brussels sprout department. Okay. Sorry to put you on the spot with this, but what was your most recent read, or what are you reading right now?
My most recent read. What did I just finish? I just did an event with Julian Winters for his new release, Last First Kiss, and so I reread that to prepare to ask him questions / embarrass him about it.
Very nice. I believe I saw photos of that.
We did have a lot of fun. It was great.
Cool. What is a book you always recommend?
Oh my gosh, it's never that far from my mind. I'll always recommend to anyone The Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. I've been recommending that to people for 7 years now. Since I think I first was introduced to them in 2017 or 2018. Maybe it was 2018. And have just been evangelizing them since. And now there's like a TV show, and it still brings me joy. So I'm really excited for the new novella that comes out, I think, in May. Yeah, that's just like my go-to recommendation. Because whether you want something that's funny, whether you want something that's serious, something that's relevant, something that's speculative, like it just ticks so many boxes for so many people.
That's awesome. On par with our show, you've paired a couple of wines with your adult romance books. What is your recommendation for I'll Have What He's Having?
That's such a wide question without knowing what sort of price point we're talking about here.
Okay. Well, speaking of economical, because I'm going to fall into that camp, so let's go down that route.
Okay. I think this is going to be wild, and I know it doesn't apply to everyone because liquor laws are different in every state. But if you are in a state where Costco sells alcohol, I actually really think the Kirkland's Washington Rosé is one of the best rosés out there, especially like bang for your buck wise. It tastes so similar to me to some of the best Walla Walla rosés that I like get directly from the wineries.
Walla Walla, Washington. I was near that area not long ago.
Oh, okay.
Had some Washington wines. It was delightful.
Amazing.
So yeah, one of our co-hosts lives in the Tacoma area, so got to see her enjoy some wine. She loves to pair Washington wines with things.
Oh,
too.
nice.
So
It goes so well with almost everything.
it does. Well, what would be your recommendation for It Had to Be Him?
Oh, then you have to get Italian wine, really, since it takes place in Italy. But again, Costco comes through, and the Kirkland's Brunello di Montalcino is actually really, really amazing. I've been so surprised. And I love Brunello. I buy like a case of Brunello from my favorite producer every year, which is much more expensive per bottle than the Kirkland's one. But the Kirkland's one is really, really good too, and like surprisingly good.
Okay, I'm gonna have to make a trip to Costco.
You just have to go in a state where Costco sells alcohol.
Yeah.
Because I live in Missouri where Costco does, but if I drive right across the state line into Kansas, it does not.
What a bummer.
For the people in Kansas, not for me.
Yeah, for the people in Kansas, but Oh, okay. When you're not enjoying a glass of wine, what would you say is your drink of choice?
I think I've really gotten into this maybe since the pandemic or just because I'm old now, but I really like spicy water, which is what I like to call sparkling water, but I think it makes it more adventurous if we call it spicy water. So like a San Pellegrino, a Waterloo, a Polar, a bubbly, like literally whatever is on sale at Costco that week.
That's it.
That's whatever is cheap. That's
Perfect.
As long as it's a little bit bubbly and has the slightest smack of a flavor. Or if it's regular like San Pellegrino, I do buy the glass bottles because I feel like glass recycling is a little easier to trace than like plastic recycling. So I get the glass bottles and then I will just like put a fresh lime wedge in and feel very fancy.
I agree. I always feel that way when I'm drinking some sort of sparkling water of some sort. I'm right there with you. Okay, I want to get right to it, and I'm not going to lie. I want to talk about one word, 6 letters.
Okay.
Because I've been judging a book by its cover in the best way with that. It feels like a bit of a departure design-wise from a lot of your other books. Like, it looks just super powerful. Can you tell us a bit more about this book that's coming out next month?
Sure. So one word, 6 letters was partially inspired by the time I was doing a school visit back in 2024, and a student in the audience shouted out a slur at me, and thankfully, I'm a theater kid. I did improv in high school. I pivoted really well, handled the visit, and afterward, all the students were coming up to apologize to me. The teachers apologized. The principal came and told me this kid's punishment plan, and I was like, I don't need apologies, and I don't know. I think there should be consequences, but I'm not super interested in punishment. I'm interested in how does the community heal and move on from this, because I get to fly home. Everyone else gets to stay here. The queer kids in the school get to live with what their classmate shouted, and their classmate gets to live with what he shouted, whether he meant it or not, whether he's just parroting what he hears at home, or whether he's simply 14 and his brain isn't done cooking yet, as happens to all 14-year-olds. So the book itself was kind of a departure for me, in that I ended up sort of telling the story in 2 perspectives, of both the kid who shouts a slur at a school assembly, and then a queer kid who is grappling with his queerness and dealing with the fallout. And it was a really intense writing process. I think I wrote the first draft in 3 weeks, which is incredibly fast for me. And as we were talking about, I guess, design of the book in particular, I knew I didn't want it to look like anything else I had done before. Many years ago, 10 years ago, right? 2016? That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
One of my favorite artists, David Gilmour, who is also the guitarist from Pink Floyd, but he does solo stuff as well, put out a song called In Any Tongue, and for the music video of it, he used a hand-illustrated, charcoal on brown paper cartoon that basically depicted the war in the Middle East, Afghanistan and Iraq. And it was so incredible, and it was sort of incidental that it just went perfectly with this song that he had written without ever having seen this animated film. And so it's A, one of my favorite of his songs, and then B, I think it's an incredibly moving video, and naturally I'm immediately blanking on the name of the original animation. But I sent it to my editor and my cover designer, and I was like, I think it needs to be something like this. A, brown paper and charcoal makes me think of school because I'm old. But also B, it's visceral. It's constantly, you feel motion in it, even in the still moments. And it feels raw in a way that the book feels raw to me. So I was like, I don't know what I mean by it needs to feel like this, but I think it should feel like this. And they came back with that cover, and it does feel like that to me. So it has, scrawls of the letter F all over it. And it does have a brown paper texture to it almost. I don't know if schools still have their students wrap their textbooks in used grocery bags anymore.
And doodling all over them.
But I feel like for any adult it will evoke that memory, and for any young person it will at least evoke the memory of a time when we used paper instead of ChatGPT. And I'm so excited with how it turned out. It was designed by Samira Iravani, who ended up actually is the same designer who designed the cover for Darius the Great Is Not Okay, my very first book. So it was a fun full circle moment.
That's awesome. Well, it was very moving just from seeing it too. And you probably remember Megan a bit too. Like, same thing. We were just like, I can't wait to get my hands on this and to read this one. With all of that too, like, we've had a lot of conversations on this podcast about YA versus adult books, what that line is. As an author of both, what is like the differentiator for you?
For me, it's the differentiator is always whose story is centered.
Okay.
And I think for it to be a young adult novel, it must center the lives and concerns of teenagers. Particularly, I think, in the United States, high schoolers, or perhaps older middle schoolers. I think, like, there's a lot of great YA set in, like, the first year of college, but I think even that is pushing at that. It feels your concerns change so rapidly when you're at that age. I think, as an adult, for instance, you see your friends and they'll date someone 10 years older than them. If you were in high school and a freshman was dating a sophomore, that was scandalous, completely scandalous, because you are so different at age 14 than you are at age 15. I really think, gosh, I just got way off topic. Anyway, for me, young adult has to center the needs, the concerns, the emotional awareness of teenagers, and it has to treat them with respect and dignity, and be concerned with how they interact with the world. And I think similarly, adults needs to center the concerns of adults. And it's fun because adults have many different kinds of concerns. And the more I do this, the more I find that, like, the key difference between an adult and a teenager is not age, though that certainly impacts it. But it is that as an adult we accumulate experience and context that young people just lack. And so in a way, what sets adult literature apart from young adult literature is that no matter what happens in the book, there is context for it. And it's either not the first time it's happened to that character, or it's the first time, but something similar has happened that they can use to contextualize the experience. And when you're writing for teens, so many of the experiences will be their very first time encountering it. And I think honoring that firstness and newness is what really young adult literature is all about.
I've never heard anyone provide it like that, and that's just so spot on to me. Like, I just want to take that clip, bundle it up in a bow, and now when anybody asks me, I'm going to be like, this is what Adib said, and I stand by this. I think that this is the perfect answer. So, both Love on the Vine books have been incredible successes. Can readers expect another?
Yes, there is the third one, because Farzan and Ramin have a third best friend, Arya, the group slut. Obviously, he has to have a story where he is dragged, kicking and screaming, out of his life of one-night stands into falling in love.
Yes. Okay. What else can you share about that?
His love interest is named Ben. He's a cellist, and he wears slutty little glasses.
Oh, okay. What are timeline-ish?
Timeline-ish. It takes place, it starts in the March after It Had to Be Him.
Okay.
So after Noah and Ramin are back from Italy, but before they get engaged. And it spans about 6 months, basically from spring to fall.
Okay.
Encompassing Arya freaking out about his best friend getting engaged. Sorry, spoiler alert for the epilogue for It Had to Be Him.
I'll try to add that in there ahead of time.
It's a romance, they're going to bone a lot and fall in love. That's my entire brand, is boning a lot and falling in love.
There's going to be happily ever after. You know it.
You are literally guaranteed it.
Yes, that's like why we're all here, right?
Exactly.
So, okay, I'm a little bit embarrassed that I only just realized that you also have a Patreon.
You only just realized it because it's literally, what day is it? It's like 6 weeks old. I launched it in the new year.
Okay, well that just showed because I was stalking you on social media, obviously, to be like,
as one does.
I gotta catch up on his life, all these things, and I was like, holy cow, did I miss this entirely? So can you tell me about Chateau Adib?
Chateau Adib is a Patreon I launched because it's difficult sometimes, both writing for young people and writing for adults. I have pretty strict rules about what I'm willing to post on the off chance that some middle schooler is doing a book report on me. So I won't let even though I do use the F word in many of my books, I won't let anyone like post like a line from the book with the F word in it. I'll let people post pictures of me holding wine, but I won't let anyone post pictures of me drinking the wine, even though it's heavily implied I'm going to. And launching a Patreon was sort of a way of, I guess, putting a barrier in place so that I could share more, I think, about my adult romances with people that are specifically with me for my adult romances. Because I'm always jealous of other adult romance authors that'll just post like lines from their works in progress that are absolutely filthy and delightful, and I was like, I have something equally filthy, but I feel weird about posting it because what if a 13-year-old is doing a book report on me and finds my Instagram? And so having a Patreon with a paywall helps me silo it a little more and feel better about like sharing what I'm working on right now on the adult side, or sharing artwork, or occasionally filthy artwork that obviously I can't put on Instagram. But like, I write about adults, enjoying the pleasures of their bodies, and it's fun to like have artwork about that, and it's fun to have a place to like engage with other adults on that topic without constantly worrying if a young person is like also there.
Yeah, okay, it's fun to celebrate it too, and not have to worry about young eyes.
It is. I mean, romance is a genre about pleasure, and one part of the pleasure is sexuality, and it's fun to talk about it, and it's fun to commission people to make horny art about it.
I love it. I'm so ready. I was like, I can't believe I didn't know about this, but now I feel better.
Now you know, because it's brand new.
I feel a little bit better, a smidge better. If one of your books was going to be adapted, which I know that there have been talks before about that, but if you were to pick one, which would it be?
That's tough. I still really think Darius the Great is Not Okay would have made a great movie. It was on track for that, and then the pandemic happened, and I am, part of a generation of people who all had their options lapse because Hollywood contracted so much after the pandemic. But I still think it would be a really beautiful movie. I think Iran is a beautiful country. Who knows if they'd actually be able to film there, but Iranians are beautiful people. The Iranian culture is a beautiful one, and I love the idea of sharing with Western audiences the humanity of Iranians, which I think is something that is at the center of everything I write, but is perhaps most deeply felt in Darius the Great is Not Okay, because I actually go to Iran.
Yeah. If you could pick your dream cast for it, who do you think you would pick?
I don't know that I would. I have no dream cast for any of the young people because I don't know any teenage actors, and I actually think it's really important that Hollywood finds unknowns, finds like new talent. I think it's been really exciting to see like the two young stars of Heated Revelry. Like I was like, oh, there is in fact new talent we can be tapping. Like I think finding that new talent is really great. That said, I did always kind of have Chris Hemsworth in mind as like Darius's dad. So if he wants to, come on board,
Chris, if you're listening,
that's fine. I bet he smells really nice. I would like to meet him. That's my dream cast. And I think I would love it if they have actual Iranians playing the characters. There actually are lots of great Iranian actors out there, like Aryan Moayed and Maz Jobrani and Negin Farsad and Shohreh Aghdashloo. I think she'd be great as the grandmother. But I just love them to find like Iranian talent and fill it, and then also have Chris Hemsworth be there.
Of course. Okay. I think that is just a great mashup for a cast with that happens. For listeners and readers that do want to connect with you of all ages, where can they do so?
My website, adibkhorram.com, is a great place. I am on Instagram at Adib Khorram, and I'm on Blue Sky at Adib Khorram. But if you go there, you mostly will hear me talking about The Pit on HBO right now. I guess depending if you check me out there while the show is airing or between seasons, or until I get a new obsession. But I'm currently very obsessed with that show. And then I do have my Patreon. It's at Chateau Adib. I have a monthly newsletter, which the sign-up is on my website, and that's for all ages. And I share my writing life, events coming up, news, and sort of anything else going on that strikes my fancy when I realize I haven't sent out the newsletter that month and have to pull something together in an hour.
You're like, and this is what you get. This is what's on my mind. Awesome. I love it. We will link to all of that in the podcast notes so people can connect with you there. And I'll definitely be keeping my eye out for One Word, 6 Letters next month too. Early congratulations on the release of that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me again. It was awesome to have you back.
It's been so nice to be back and so fun to like do this in person, like across a table with a weird elastic wrap on it. Earlier, I think before we started recording, I called it the table condom, and I still think that's inaccurate because it looks like it just was rolled down the table.
I think that's the most accurate description of it. Next podcast, I will be sure to pass along that information so that they know what to appropriately call it.
Perfect.
So, thanks, Adib.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening. The Narratives Nightcaps Podcast is a production of The Craft Co. with intro music created by Remington Haynes.
Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow at Narratives and Nightcaps on Instagram or visit our website, narrativesandnightcaps.com.
Sign up for our newsletter to always know what we're reading next, which authors are joining us on the show, and for extra bookish and beverage info.
Connect with our additional co-hosts, Jordan and Emily, as well.
You can find me on Instagram at Cozy Reads and Sips.
And you can find me on Instagram at books.bottles.
Cheers!
Cheers!